Are you a med spa owner looking to increase your profitability? Well, if you are, you're going to want to meet Monte Zwang, principal owner of Wellness Capital. He's going to be here talking to us today about how you can do just that, which is increase your profitability. Because with the revenue that med spa makes compared to the average profitability is wildly different from one med spa to the next. So I'm so excited to be talking to you, Monte. Tell me exactly what you do to help med spas increase their profitability.
Well, thanks, Caitlin. It's great to be here. I really appreciate the time to have this opportunity to introduce myself. As you said, my name is Monte Zwang. My company is called Wellness Capital Management, and we work with health, wellness, fitness, beauty, medical spas, medical practices to help them improve their profitability. I am a firm believer that people are really good at what they do, and that's why they get into the business they are. But the business side of it, the financial side, is like Greek. It just doesn't connect. And so I've been able to work with medical spa operators in order to help them understand what their numbers are, what they should be, and then we work on some long-term strategies, and then we provide bookkeeping for them so that they can stay on track and get useful information, things that I call good numbers, which so many operators are just hungry for. They just don't even know what they are. And that's okay, because I don't do facials, so we're even.
Right. And so what we find is the med spa owner, they don't know what they don't know. So they have their books, right? But they don't even know oftentimes what they're missing out. And what is that first step to getting that much closer to being able to move towards a higher profitability in your med spa? What's that first step that has to happen?
I think the first step is for you to understand if you're profitable or not and what profitability is. Because everybody hears that word and they think, okay, well, I've got money in my bank account, I must be really, really profitable. Well, that may not be the case. So understanding first what profitability is, I think, is the first step. And once they understand what that is, then we can adjust and work with them to fix their books and records so that they can see their profitability. Because what they're getting right now is numbers on a page. And so they need to understand what they should be looking at and where their numbers should be in order to go forward. It's like driving without a GPS. If you don't know what your numbers should be, then how do you know where you're going? Right. So we help translate that into language that operators understand.
Okay, so if I'm a med spa owner, what should I really be aiming for in my profitability? What's that ratio? What is it that you commonly find like a good med spa that's squeezing all the juice out is profitability at what percentage?
Before debt service, 20 to 25%.
Okay, so break that down. What do you mean what does that mean exactly when you say before debt service?
Exactly. Well, let me tell you my mantra. And my mantra is this: it's sales minus direct costs equals gross profit. Gross profit minus overhead equals net income. Sales, people get confused because they count every dollar that comes in as a sale. It's really not. It's the services you provide and it's the products that you sell. Everything else lives someplace else in your financials because you haven't earned the money until you deliver that service or you sell that product. So knowing that is sales, then the direct costs are everything that goes up and down for providing those. So things like your direct and your practitioner labor, your payroll taxes, your back bar product or your professional product, the cost for buying your retail. And so your sales minus your direct costs equals gross profit. Your sales are 100%. Your direct cost should be no more in a med spa than 55%. And that gives you 45% to pay overhead. And your overhead is things that happen every month. You got your rent, you got your marketing, you've got your professional fees, you've got your insurance, all those type of things that don't go up and down, but you have to pay every month. So gross profit minus overhead equals net income. And so if your gross profit is 45%, your overhead can't really be much more than 15 to 20%. And that also includes your rent. So that gives you your net profit. So 45% minus 20 is 25. And from there, you pay your leases, you pay your bank notes, you pay your loan to shareholders and those type of things. And that really varies from business to business. But again, you should be at 20 to 25% net profit. You should be at 55% direct cost, 45% gross profit if you're a med spa. And if you're not, you got to look at what's happening.
That was so good, Monte. I need a whiteboard and I need to map that out for everyone because that information right there was absolute gold. Okay, so the next question I want to ask you, because this is one of the biggest questions I get, is how much should I be paying my PA, my nurse practitioner, my RN? Because oftentimes I see med spa owners just pull this out of their butts, to be perfectly honest, and they are either way overpaying, or this morning I was on a call and they were way underpaying their NP, and I was like, you're not going to keep this employee. And they very rarely do I talk to a med spa owner that is using an actual formula to make sure that it's a win-win for everyone, right? You want to be generous and you want to compensate accordingly for your employees. But at the end of the day, you also need to make money as the med spa owner, right? So because it's very expensive to run a med spa, there's a lot of risk involved in it. So how can I make sure that I'm paying appropriately?
Let's kind of look at what you sell a med spa product, a med spa service for. And Katlin, you know this better than I do, but if you take an hour if you have an hour, a 45-minute session of Botox, that's probably going to be about $1,200. Does that sound about right?
Well, that's a lot of Botox money. You probably have some filler in there. But let's call it injectable. Let's say, if you're doing injectables, and that can be a mix of Botox and filler, but yes, $1,200. Let's say that.
The most you should be paying your practitioner is somewhere between 10 to 15% of that.
10 to 15%. Okay. So
for direct, and I call that direct labor. So practitioner labor.
Okay, so you're saying, because I want to make sure we're not confusing people here, because you're saying 10 to 15% should be your total labor when you're looking at your financial ratios. You're not suggesting that they're paying just a flat percentage, because we can't commission, right? Those medical services. No, so you're saying the ratio.
Yeah, for every dollar that you sell in medical spa services, for every dollar, you should be paying 15 cents to your practitioner.
Okay. So what are you seeing most people do? Are you seeing people do an hourly plus a bonus when they meet, a certain threshold or a goal, in the sense of, they win when you win and vice versa? What's the most common compensation models that you're seeing?
I'm seeing a hourly rate plus a bonus on a quarterly basis based on some sort of sales growth.
Quarterly.
And because I think that if you don't, somebody can have an up month or a down month. If you don't put a quarter together, you might have to take it out of their pay if they don't do it the following month. But if you look at it quarter to quarter, you've got enough time to understand what their pattern is and what their true sales are going to be. The other thing that we base their bonus on is they have to understand to a certain extent what their break even is. How many services do they need, or are they supposed to be providing in order to cover their salary or their hourly? And if they know that, then you can incentivize or bonus them based on how much above that they might be doing. Productivity and profitability is what drives your net income.
Wow, that's so good. That's so good. Tell me, where do you find the biggest opportunity to increase profitability with med spas? So when you are advising and strategizing with your clients, what's the most common place that you can quickly increase profit for them?
Even though it's not your most profitable service, injectables draw people in. And so it is the ability to get people in your door for a non-$1,500 investment, which I think is really important, because you have to establish a relationship with your guest in order to get them to want to come in and spend time and spend money with you and get comfortable with you. So I found that injectables are always even though they might be in some situations a loss leader, they're the ones that get people in the door. And then if you've got the ability to do skin analysis and show somebody what their skin could be if they go through your skin improvement formula or program, that gets them in for the longer term. But initially, you want something that they can come into, not spend a great deal of money, get comfortable with the business, and then you can build from there.
Yeah. So if I'm going to invest my time and money with a financial advisor such as yourself or a business guide, what's the big takeaway that I'm going to get from that?
You're going to understand what good numbers are, and you're going to understand if you're profitable or not. And if you are profitable, we're going to see how profitable and if we can improve that. And if you're not profitable, we're going to see what you need to do in order to make you profitable. So you can build this thing. You can't stay in business if you don't make money.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What are the most common areas that you find that you're helping your clients improve their profitability?
I'm usually helping them lower their direct costs and improve their gross profit margin. Sales minus direct cost is gross profit margin. We're also working on making sure that they haven't taken on too much debt, because sometimes we can reorganize that and lower their payments so they can improve their cash flow. And then we give them a budget, which is nothing more than a roadmap of where you're planning on being financially. And so if you don't have that guidance in a language that lines up with your books, you're driving blind. And that's where, unfortunately, a lot of people are. I was supposed to be the fifth generation of physicians in my family, Katlin. My dad was a private practice neurologist in Berkeley, California. And it took me 25 years to get him to incorporate his practice. And when he did, he kind of said, "Oh, I'm not paying out as much tax. How come you didn't tell me this a long time ago?" I said, "Because I'm your son, and you don't, that's the dynamic." But I was supposed to be the next generation of doctors in my family, but I flunked high school chemistry and ended my legacy.
So if I'm ready to figure out what I don't know when it comes to my financials for my med spa, and what I'm ready to, get a budget and a plan in place so that I can ultimately achieve the goals of my revenue goals that I have for my med spa, where generally is the first place that you're going to start with? What is that? Are we going to start by plotting out a budget and a strategy, or do you have to clean up my books and get me straight in my life together so you can review the data to make that informed decisions on where I want to go and how I'm going to do it?
all of the above. You got to have clean books in order to have good numbers, and you've got to have good numbers in order to make good decisions and create a meaningful budget. So typically what we do is we look at where you are, and we look at, hopefully you're fairly current, but part of our setup when people hire us to do their bookkeeping for them is we reorganize their chart of accounts so it fits into the sales minus direct costs equals gross profit minus overhead equals net income. Yes, I say that a lot. Yes, that is my mantra, and yes, people understand it. So once we have their books kind of cleaned up and we're monitoring it, we're making sure that their cash flow is doing what it should be doing, then we'll circle back and we do a budget, because we want them to have a plan, but we want to make sure we're building it on reality. So a budget, bookkeeping first, get it cleaned up, start processing the books, then move into doing a budget using the books that we've just cleaned up. And then from there, we've got a plan. And then once a month, my clients meet with me for half an hour to an hour to talk about strategy, to see if we need to change stuff. Or some of my clients just, they're going to buy a new piece of equipment. They shoot me an email and they shoot me the information. I take a look at it to see if it makes sense. You got to have a plan. You got to have a picture. And in this market, it's really tough to plan out much more than half a year, because this COVID has changed everything. It really has. And it's really altered the way that we do business and the way that we certainly plan our businesses. So we can plan out a year, but realistically, we can only be really, truly comfortable with where we're going to be 6 months from now. I used to plan for a year, 2 years, maybe even 3 years. Right after COVID, we were planning week to week, then month to month, and then quarter to quarter. And now we're starting to get into half a year, which is where I'm comfortable, because I can kind of see where we're heading as an industry. And 2021 has been really, really strong for med spas. So all that's really good.
That's right. We can't live without our Botox and our lasers, even during COVID. So, well, Monte, you have been really, really insightful. And I know you have a special offer for people that are watching. And tell me about the free guide that you have for profitability, and where people can find it.
Absolutely. Go to my website, wellnesscapital.com, capital with an A. And right on the front page, there's a download our free profitability guide. So that will show you how things are supposed to be. And then you can kind of think in your mind what you're doing. Now, I work with both day spas and med spas, and the profitability is slightly different. But it's the basics are there. I offer a free consultation. If someone wants to talk to me about their business, they can reach out and talk to me, and I'll give them a free half hour and listen to what's going on and see if I can be of service. I really think that allows people to kind of learn a little bit about what we do, as well as take some information that's useful. Also on my website, on my articles page, on my blog page, there's all kinds of information, and people can sign up for that and take a look at that and learn a whole bunch about where we are as an industry and profitability and all kinds of good stuff like that.
It's amazing. I love so much that you are a specialist in this niche, in the med spa industry, because you really understand and have a full grasp of where the margin should be in all of the really important categories. Because I see oftentimes that, one, it's a real mess and they have no idea what their numbers are. And they're just literally looking at their bank account and that's it. Other people, they have QuickBooks set up, but they're not really monitoring where the different ratios are, or working towards where they should be, kind of thing. So to work with a financial advisor, really a business guide that's going to move you up the food chain when it comes to your profitability in your med spa, is just so valuable. So I really encourage everyone, take Monte up on this offer. Schedule that free consultation with him. If anything, you are going to take away some gold nuggets that you can implement yourself. But I always say, and I love that you say this too, you don't do facials. You are a financial advisor. And the same thing, can be true where
That's right.
these med spa owners, you're an injector, you're a laser technician, right? You are in the beauty business, and let people that are in the financial advising business take care of you and your business when it comes to your finances. And not only is it going to save you a lot of time, but it's going to keep a lot more of that revenue in your pocket at the end of the day.
Mhm. And just one more thing, Caitlin, is that I don't want my clients not to be involved with their numbers. I want them to be able to look at them though and know with confidence what they're saying and whether they're profitable and where they need to improve. I don't want them processing their data. That's a waste of their time and talents. What they need to do is be able to get the information, understand what it says, and then take action from there.
Yeah, quickly get that data to make informed decisions, which I love. That one of course, I love you from a marketing perspective, right? Because we need to make marketing decisions based on the data, which first starts with having that data and your financial set up properly. So that's why I really want to deliver this message to my clients and the people that follow me, because it really is a foundational piece that is absolutely necessary and really trickles into your sales or your consultation, and it trickles into your marketing decisions, and just your business concept overall. It's so important to have this financial foundation piece set up correctly. It's going to be able to, really give you the information that you need to make informed decisions in your business to achieve the goals that you have set out, whatever those may be. So thank you so much for your time today. Make sure that you guys check Monte out at wellnesscapital.com. That's capital with the AL.com. And make sure you get that free guide to increasing your profitability. Thanks, Monte.
Thank you, Caitlin. Always nice to talk to you.